The Little Things, 2021. The film opens on a dark California highway, where fear hangs thick in the night air. A young woman senses danger as a mysterious car follows her relentlessly. She escapes, shaken but alive, setting the tone for a story driven by dread and uncertainty. Joe Deke Deacon, a weary deputy sheriff from Kern County, travels to Los Angeles to retrieve evidence. Haunted by a tragic past, Deke carries guilt like a shadow. His return to LA awakens old memories of unsolved murders, restless nights, and the little mistakes that once destroyed his promising career and peace of mind. In Los Angeles, Detective Jim Baxter leads an investigation into a series of brutal murders targeting young women. The crimes mirror an older case Deke once failed to solve. Baxter is ambitious, respected, and under immense pressure to deliver results quickly. Deke notices small inconsistencies at crime scenes, details others overlook, earning Baxter's reluctant respect. As the two men collaborate, their partnership grows uneasy but effective. Deke's instincts, shaped by years of regret, resurface. Meanwhile, the city grows tense as media scrutiny intensifies, demanding justice, closure, and an arrest before panic consumes the streets of Los Angeles. Attention soon turns to Albert Sparma, a strange, unsettling man with an obsession for crime. Sparma works at an appliance repair shop and seems to enjoy taunting police with cryptic remarks. Deke becomes convinced Sparma is the killer, despite lacking concrete evidence. Baxter remains cautious, aware that suspicion alone is not proof. Sparma's behavior blurs the line between guilt and provocation, manipulating investigators psychologically. His eerie calm and unsettling smile unsettle both detectives. As surveillance begins, Deke grows increasingly obsessed, projecting his unresolved past onto Sparma, convinced this time he can finally make things right. Deke and Baxter secretly follow Sparma, watching his routines and listening to his taunts. Sparma seems aware he's being watched, feeding the detectives half-truths and disturbing fantasies. Baxter's personal life begins to suffer, as long hours and mental strain pull him away from his pregnant wife. Deke encourages Baxter to trust instincts over protocol, a dangerous suggestion born from desperation. Their moral lines blur as frustration mounts. Every missed opportunity feels like another failure. The investigation becomes less about justice and more about control, obsession, and proving they are smarter than the man mocking them openly. Sparma offers to lead the detectives to a body, claiming he remembers where a victim is buried. Desperate for closure, Baxter and Deke follow him into the desert. Hours pass as Sparma forces Baxter to dig endless holes, taunting him psychologically. No body appears. The sun beats down, tempers flare, and reality fractures under pressure. Consumed by rage and humiliation, Baxter snaps, killing Sparma in a moment of uncontrolled violence. Silence follows. Deke realizes the terrible truth. There is no proof Sparma was the killer, and now Baxter has crossed an irreversible line. Deke steps in to cover up the killing, driven by guilt and familiarity with such mistakes. He helps Baxter stage the scene to look like an accident, teaching him how to survive the aftermath. Deke understands the weight Baxter now carries because he once carried it himself. The department closes the case, though doubts linger. Baxter is praised publicly, yet internally haunted. The victory feels hollow. Deke absorbs responsibility quietly, knowing this secret will bind them forever. The cycle of guilt repeats, proving that sometimes the worst punishment isn't prison, but living with what you've done. As days pass, Baxter unravels, tormented by uncertainty. He cannot escape the possibility that Sparma was innocent. Sleep eludes him, and paranoia creeps into his thoughts. Deke, preparing to leave Los Angeles, reflects on how obsession ruins lives. He recognizes the same patterns repeating in Baxter's behavior. The system moves on, but the emotional scars deepen. Justice remains unresolved, and the real killer, if one exists, is still out there. The city resumes its rhythm, indifferent to moral ambiguity. Deke understands that closure is often an illusion, especially when built on blood and lies. Before leaving, Deke makes one final decision. He purchases a red beret identical to one worn by a murder victim and mails it to Baxter anonymously. This small act is meant to offer peace, even if it's based on deception. Baxter believes the beret proves Sparma's guilt, easing his torment. Deke chooses compassion over truth, accepting that sometimes lies protect what truth destroys. The gesture mirrors the film's title, showing how the little things can define a person's fate. Deke sacrifices his own conscience to spare Baxter from lifelong psychological collapse. Deke drives away from Los Angeles, alone with his thoughts. The city fades behind him, but his burden remains. He understands that obsession blinded him once and nearly destroyed another man. The case taught him that certainty is dangerous, and righteousness can corrupt. Baxter remains with his family, believing in a manufactured closure. The justice system appears intact, yet cracks remain beneath the surface. The film offers no clear hero or villain, only flawed humans making irreversible choices. In this world, truth is slippery, and morality exists in gray spaces shaped by fear, pride, and regret. The Little Things concludes as a haunting meditation on obsession and guilt. It challenges the idea that catching a suspect equals justice. Deke's past and Baxter's future intertwine through shared silence and compromise. The film suggests that focusing too closely on details can distort reality, turning investigators into prisoners of their own minds. There is no triumph, only survival. In the end, the greatest danger isn't the killer in the shadows, but the mistakes made when certainty replaces patience. The story lingers, unsettling and unresolved, reminding viewers that sometimes the smallest choices carry the heaviest consequences.